Now we're going to get started on part 6 of our multifamily beginner series with investor Adam Adams. So, for anyone who joined lately, I just want to give you all a quick recap. So throughout this 6-part series, we had covered determining your buy criteria, selecting your market, how to build your real estate team and align yourself with investors, starting a meetup and a podcast to grow your network. And we just wrapped up now the creative ways to buy multifamily. And so all of those recordings will be on my YouTube channel. You can go on YouTube and search Rachel Agon, and it's with the Multifamily on Fire logo. I'll be uploading all of the pre-recorded meetings there. And so now we're going to get into syndication. Okay, so I know you were talking about syndication, but now we're going to jump more into syndication, because if you guys don't know, you can really scale up quicker with syndication. And so Adam, 1 second. So can you just share what you know about the different rules between syndication, like of the 506, 506C and Regulation A, and which ones do you think we should do for our first syndication deal when we, do get to that?
Yeah. Hey, for everybody on the call, it can be scary to ask a non-attorney this question. It can be scary. There's a couple reasons why, because seriously, the law could change. The law could have changed a week ago and I wouldn't know about it yet. So if the law changed, I'm sorry. If I misunderstood it, I'm sorry. I didn't go to law school. I didn't study this specifically. I tried to do my best. And so what I'll say is, what I'm about to share with you is for, how about we call it entertainment purposes. What I'm about to share with you is for entertainment purposes, not legal advice. You're going to want to talk to a securities attorney. And my securities attorney is Jillian Sidoti. She's amazing. I would love to put anyone in touch with her. So if you want to be put in touch with Jillian, reach out to me, adam@realbluespruce.com, and I will put you in touch with the best securities attorney I know. But let me start to get some of the info, some of the things that I think I know. Okay, here it goes. There is 3 things. Rachel mentioned them. 506. There's Regulation D, as in dog. 506B, as in my buddies, my friends, the close people to me. There is Regulation D, as in dog. 506C, as in community, the city. Some of the people I might know, some of them I probably don't know. Most of the people in a city of 1 million, I probably don't know. But I can go to the community and I can go to the city with a 506C. And then there's Regulation A. Reg A or Regulation A, totally different. So here's the differences. Write them down. 506B with your buddies. A, you're allowed to raise money from your friends, and only your friends, only people that you have a relationship with. I could probably raise money from Dennis and Rachel, but anyone else on the call, I wouldn't be able to do, okay? Because I don't personally know anyone yet. I'm not close with anyone yet, right? So 506B, you got to understand their financial situation. They don't have to be what's called accredited. They don't have to be accredited, which accredited means that they make a certain amount of money. They're highly wealthy. Accredited doesn't mean they passed a test. It means they're worth at least $1 million besides their own house, or they've been making for the last 2 years at least $200K on their own, and they have a reasonable expectation of doing $200K again this year. Or if they're married or somehow filing jointly, then it's going to be 300 as a partnership. They don't have to do 200 alone. And they still have to have that net worth of $1 million or more besides their own house. Okay, so that's the accreditation. With 506B, they don't have to be accredited. I just have to know them. I have to be connected with them. I have to know what their experience is. They still have to be sophisticated. Sophisticated, it means that they know that they could lose money with you. They know the risks. They know and understand real estate, or at least investing. They have to have some experience. If they have some experience and they're a friend of mine, I can take their money and put it in a deal. That's 506B. I am not allowed to post any of this on Facebook because there's a lot of people on Facebook that are part of the community, the city. And I can't talk to them about my deal. I can only talk to my buddies, okay? So 506B, just the people that I know. They don't have to be accredited, but they must still be sophisticated. And I cannot talk about it at a meetup. I cannot talk about it on a billboard or anything. So that's how the Securities and Exchange Commission protects people with 506B. They want to make sure that I have a relationship with them. I know who they are. I get to know them. That's why I say 506B is for your buddies only. 506C is you can go out to the community, you can go out to the city as much as you want, okay? But they all have to be accredited. So now once you say, I've posted this deal on Facebook, once you've posted it once on Facebook, I'm so sorry, you can never go to a B. You can never let somebody in who's not accredited. But you're actually allowed to advertise now. 506C allows you to you can easily put it on a billboard. You can post it on Facebook. You can post it on social media. You can go to a meetup and you can say, hey, I have something that you could invest in. You can do that with a C. You're allowed to with a C because that exemption allows you, if you only let accredited investors in the deal and you verify that they're accredited, either yourself or by a third party, you can tell the whole world. So that's the differences. With the Bs and buddies, they don't have to be accredited, but you couldn't advertise it out to people that you don't know. You can only tell personals. Reg A is totally different. There's also other regulations on top of this. The two most common are B and C, and then there's A, and then there's at least one more. But the Reg A is very interesting. Reg A, okay, so the cost up front to doing a B is probably going to be about 12 to 20,000 just for that one private placement memorandum. Mm-hmm. For a C, it's going to be 12 to 20,000, exactly the same, just for that private placement memorandum. The difference, the reason why they cost more or less is usually either because of the attorney and how much they charge, but it's also very important to understand the other reason why they could be more expensive is that there's something called a blue sky. You have to file with every single state that you're doing this in. So if you have like hundreds of investors, it's going to cost more because there's going to be more work on the attorney, more risk on the attorney, and more cities that they're probably going to be involved in. With 506C, 506B or C, okay? If it's cut and dry and you have 7 investors and they all live in Atlanta, for instance, it's going to be fast and easy. So the more money you raise, probably the more it's going to cost. And that's usually because there's more risk to the attorney, not because the attorney does any more work. They still have to fill out the same paperwork, but they have more risk. Their liability insurance goes up. With Reg A, it has the ability of bringing in, you can advertise. It's so weird. You can get the best of B and the best of C. You can advertise it with Reg A plus, and you can have non-accredited investors. Okay. The accredited investors generally will fill out one form and the non-accredited will generally fill out a different form, but it's on the same deal. Really weird. Reg A. Reg A costs way more. So instead of costing 12 to 20, it's probably going to cost $70,000 or more to get an attorney to do a Reg A. There's more liability, there's more risk, there's more time. 506B and 506C usually take like 2 or 3 weeks. Hey, I want to raise money. 2 or 3 weeks from now, my attorney can have all the documents drafted. With a Reg A, it usually, I think it's supposed to take 6 to 9 months. Double check with your attorney though. It takes a long time. I've never done one, but it gives you the best of both worlds. You can advertise, you can do this, you can have accredited, non-accredited, whatever you want basically. But it costs a lot more. It takes a lot more time. So most people don't want to do it because I don't want to close a deal in 9 months. I want to close a deal in a month or two, right? So I don't want to wait for 6 to 9 months just to have the documents ready. That's some of the pieces. Certainly not perfect, but you already know that you're supposed to talk to an attorney before you do this. So, yeah. Do you want to go into the next question or?
Yeah. So I would like to know, like, the process. So say it's our first time doing the syndication deal. Which one would you recommend, the 506B or 506C?
Yeah, your first time ever, you probably do the B.
That's
Okay,
what I was thinking.
90. I've heard about 90% from. I've got two clients. I help people market and brand themselves better. Two of
Mm-hmm.
my clients are securities attorneys, and then I have my own securities attorney that I pay for all this stuff. All three of them say that. Tell me your question one more time. How much? Say
I
that
said,
one. Oh, which one to do first?
yeah.
All three of them say that it's like 90 to 95%. All three of them say somewhere between 90 and 95% of this of the documents that they do is going to be a 506B. It's because it's simple, it's easy. There's less regulations. It's a little bit faster. It's a little bit easier. The drawback would just be that you can only raise money from your buddies. So if you have enough buddies with 506B, you're going to be fine. But I would recommend that would be your first place to go is 506B. Um,
Okay.
you're not likely to do the other two. I would say only maybe probably 1% of all things are Reg A plus,
Right.
and the other one.
So
Uh,
I also was curious. Can you just tell us the process of doing the syndication? How long does it take to raise the money? Let's say if like the first property that we get is under $1 million and we're doing a 506B. From just start to finish, like, what is that
yeah.
process like, or what was your experience on your?
It depends on who's on your team and who's raising money. But
Mhm.
if you're raising money in your first one and it's $1 million that you have to raise, um,
Or say it's under
man,
$1 million,
okay, 300,000 or
or let's just say like
okay.
six
I
hundred
think I think
thousand,
it
like, a
depends.
smaller multifamily complex.
I think it really depends on you and who you are. But for me, I think it took us on our first deal. We raised like I think 360,000. Um, it was like a 1.2 million, and we raised about 20-30%. But what ended up happening is it took us 3 or 4 weeks to raise that. And
Okay.
then our second property, we were raising 1.8 million. The raise was 1.8. I think it took about 4 weeks. Now we can make a few phone calls and raise $1 million. Right now, it's just like we call 3 or 4 people and it's done. We've already raised the whole thing. We don't need to do a webinar. We don't. It's a lot easier if it was just $1 million, but some of our raises are like 6 million, and that's tough. That takes us 4 weeks plus right now.
Mhm.
However, I have some friends who can raise 8 million in a weekend, and so it depends on you. A lot of people know who I am. I have done a few of these deals. I have been passive myself. I have I integrity means a lot to me, and I come across with all honesty possible. And so it's not terribly hard to raise some. You guys, I don't know. It's just everybody's going to be individual. Some people on the call possibly will not be able to raise 300 grand.
Mhm.
Some people on the call could probably raise 1 or 2 million in a week or two. So I, I'd just say 4 weeks. Four, try to get it done in 2 weeks. Be okay with it to be done in 4 weeks.
Right.
Um, and have a backup plan if you can't raise it at all. Have somebody else who has more experience than you, or more money than you, or more credibility than you, or more friends than you,
Mhm.
have a friend join you, because it's not a good feeling to not be able to raise it all.
Right.
It's tough, and you could lose money. You could lose your earnest money.
But can you talk about the ways to secure commitments from passive investors?
Yeah, the best way to secure commitments, in my opinion, everything to me is a funnel. Everything to me is a funnel. So we've talked about in number 1 and number 2 in the first pieces of this 6 series. We're on number 5 today. But in some of the others, we talked about trying to get in front of a lot of people. We talked about trying to get people to take action. So it's like, how do you get them down to this place, right?
Mhm.
And so all of the pieces of the funnel are very important. Every piece of the funnel is important. You have to have some type of podcast or meetup, or a book that you wrote, or even an ebook that you wrote. You've got to have something where a lot of people can kind of know you. So once you've done that, how do you kind of get people to give you a pre-commitment?
Mhm.
Number one, you're educating them, you're letting them know. And I do the 4 times. Okay. It's education, 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 call to action. Okay. Education 3 times. And then the 4th one is education with a call to action. And so that means that if you host 4 webinars like this, that on the 4th one, you want to say, hey, look, if you're liking what you're hearing, if you want to do something, go here to get on my website. So that's the step. That's a step. The second step. Rachel's talking about the 3rd step right now. So get them to know you by having a podcast. Call them to action every 4th time by saying, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to go to the next level with me, if you want to be a passive investor, if you want to make money on your money, then you need to go to our website and sign up by clicking get on the list. Go to realbluespruce.com and click get on the list. And then now you can be part of our passive investors. We'll start sharing our deals. Okay. That's a step before the piece that Rachel's talking about. The
Mhm.
piece that Rachel's talking about is, how do you get them to actually be pre-committed to want to invest in your deal? And the way that you do that is there's something called a sample deal package. If you're on the call right now, write this down in the Zoom chat. Literally write sample. You've got to write it or you're going to forget it. And if you want to learn anything, you got to be taking action right now. You write this down if you want to remember it. Sample deal package. It looks like I'm going to be the first one to write it. Okay. Oh, Dennis got it. Okay. Please write that down. If you don't, you're going to forget it, and you're not going to be able to get to this next level. So what it is I can actually share.
Yeah, I can share this. I can allow you to share. 1 second.
I'm trying to remember where I put the sample deal package, but I think I was looking at it recently. So I have a way for you guys to get a sample deal package. Here's how. Just text raising money, and it's totally free, right? Text the word raising money to the number 555 888, and there's 4 lessons, like free video lessons of me just kind of going over how to raise money. But during the 2nd lesson, you can click the button that says download a free sample deal package. So
Mhm.
the content's completely free. It's a couple hours of content for you for free. And the sample deal package is right there. So you can have something to actually use. You can use it with your investors, or you can just completely copy me. You can just do what I did, but use your face and your company and all that kind of stuff. But the sample deal package is the piece to answer your question that that a lot of people forget,
Mhm.
and they never get a pre-commitment. They want to have a pre-commitment, but they're unable to get people to sign up. And so what you do with this, after you text raising money 555 888, you'll be able to download this for completely for free. You take this 5-page. So a real deal package is 20 pages. Okay. A real deal package is a lot more than 5. But in the sample deal, you want to make it as simple as possible for your passive investor to understand. A passive investor, when they see something professional that you hand them, they, number one, they feel better about you. Tom Kroll. Tom Kroll is calling me. He owns Wholesaling Inc. Good guy. They also have the number one real estate podcast in the world. Tom Kroll does. Number one. Okay, what was I saying? With the sample deal package, we make it as small as possible because it needs to be simple for your passive investor. It just needs to be simple. Okay, so on the sample deal package, we don't want to overwhelm anyone. We just want to make it easy to digest. And so we put the basic stuff that you need. And what we normally do, most of us, we take a collection of some of our deals, and then we take those collection of deals and we make an average out of it. So we bought a 16 unit, then we bought a 83 unit, then we bought a 200 unit, then we bought a 160 something unit. Okay. And then we take all of these, and they're in 4 different markets. So we pick the market that's more likely that we're going to use next. And we take the number of doors, and we take the number that's going to be most likely that we do next. And we take the purchase price, and we take the cap rate, and we take all of the details, and we condense it into one place. Mm-hmm. And this is our sample deal package. When you've never done a deal, you got to use somebody else's sample deal package. You got to create your own from mine for free. You go in and you get this document and you hand them something that looks professional. And then they also have something that's tangible. People don't usually invest in stuff that's not tangible. Okay. So if they can touch it, it's going to help them a lot. Secondly, is if you go through all of the details without giving them something to put their hands on, they're more likely to forget it. And when they bring the sample deal package home to their spouse and show their spouse, they can start talking about it instead of having it be completely off the top of their head. They actually have something, and they come across more well prepared with their spouse. And if they're more prepared to their spouse, then they can join in on this together. So sample deal package, incredibly important. And so what you'll do is you'll sit down and you'll go over the deals with them. You go over this deal and you show them what you try to accomplish. By the way, don't ever promise a return. Don't guarantee a return. Nothing like that. Even if you have a preferred return, don't explain it as that's the guaranteed amount that we're going to pay you every month. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay. What if there's no money in the bank account? A preferred return doesn't mean it's guaranteed monthly payments or quarterly payments. A preferred return means that you get paid before I get paid. So if there's money at all, we give it to you first. That's what a preferred return is. So you kind of show them this. You make sure you're not guaranteeing any results. You're not guaranteeing what's going to happen. You show them that there is risk involved in everything. You show them your track record or the track record of the people that are on that sample deal package with you. When you download the actual sample deal package, you can go through it. I can't find it fast enough to pull it in front of you. I wish that I knew that was going to be a question, and then I would already have it ready. But at least you can download it.
Yeah, so, people can text that number, text raising money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but at the end of lunch, remember when we talked about calls to action? Yeah. Giving value. Calls to action, it means you're going to ask them to do something. Most of us human beings, we're afraid. We're scared. We don't want to be told no. I was a door-to-door knocker. I knocked on 100 doors a day sometimes. And I was told no sometimes all 100 times, all 100 doors. And so it's easier for me to be like, okay with somebody to say, oh no, I don't want to invest in your deal. But if I wasn't that way, if I was the normal person and somebody said, I don't want to invest in your deal, I would take it personally. I would be like, what did I do? Like, why don't you want to invest in my deal? Like, why did you say it like that? Why did you why did you make that face when you said that? And I would, a lot of us get nervous. I get nervous anyways, but it's easier for me because I heard no all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be, as the person that's on here, and you're going to give a sample deal package to somebody. At the end of it, you might feel squirmy, you might feel short of breath, you might feel a little anxious, but you still have to say these 3 questions, and I hope
Okay.
I can give them to you in order.
Okay.
At the end of the sample deal package, you have to say something like, does this sound like something that would help you out? Does it sound like something that would help you out? Does it sound like something that would meet your goals, basically? Okay. So write that down. Does this sound like something that can help you meet your goals? I challenge you all to write that down. If you really want to learn, you got to participate. If you don't participate, you're going to forget
Yeah.
all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So
I take
type it
notes.
in.
Hope you guys
Does this
take
sound
notes.
like something that can help you get your goals? And
Yeah.
what you'll notice about that is it's just a quick yes or no question. And if they say no, they're more likely to say yes than no. And if they say no, you should not say anything else. You should not try to convince. Don't sell ice to an Eskimo. If they say no, you don't sell ice to an Eskimo, meaning Eskimos can get tons of ice whenever they
Yeah.
want. They don't need anything that's cold. So don't try to sell somebody something that's not for them. So does this sound like something that can help you meet your goals? And if they say yes, and then you'll say, most of these move pretty fast, and most of these deals move pretty fast. So if you want to be part of it, I'm typing this down for you guys, and you should be typing it down. If you want to be part of it, you will want to know that sometimes you gotta have your money in the bank within 2 weeks. Okay, so that's your second thing. And then you ask, would that be something that would that be possible for you? Okay, would that be possible? Okay, you ask, would it be possible? Because if they say yes, it's possible, then psychologically they're already psyching themselves out that they should do it. They already told you that it would meet their goals, and they already told you that it's possible. So then the third question that you're going to ask them is, you're going to say, uh, because these things sell out, because I'm trying to type it in. Rachel, will you type it in? Because these things sell out so fast. I just need to know how much you want to put into the deal, into the next deal. Because these things sell out so fast, I just want to know how much you would be putting into the next deal. And then I always say, would you be doing like 100 or 200,000, or just the minimum? That's how I say it. Would you be doing 100 or 200,000, or just the minimum? Because when you seed, it's called seeding. When you seed the 100 to 200, that makes them start to see this is big money, and other people probably put in 100 or 200,000. And then when you say, or just the minimum, they're like, oh, I guess it's okay to put in the minimum. And then they'll say, usually if they're new, they'll usually say, oh, probably just the minimum. Or they'll say, how much is the minimum? Okay. Usually they'll say, how much is the minimum? And you can either say 25K or 50K or 75K or whatever you want. But they'll either say probably just the minimum, which means you pretty much got them. They're in, or they might say, well, how much is the minimum? And then you just give the answer, and then you ask them, so now that you know that the minimum is 50K, would you be doing more like 100 or 200,000, or would you want to just do the minimum? And so once they get that answer, they tell you what they're going to do. And now you got to close it up, button it up. Okay. We'll call this the button down close. Button down close. Okay. So all of a sudden you've said, would you do 102 or 200 or just the minimum? They say probably just the minimum. Now you say, okay, like I told you before, John, these things close fast, and a lot of people want to be invested in deals like this. So, are you sure I should save you that spot for 50,000? Because I don't want to take it away from somebody else. I want to, if you want it, it's yours, and I want to give it to you. So that's what you got to say. You got to button down close. And there's a lot of psychology in what I said, but basically what it is it's possessive. You're giving them a position of 50,000 that they are allowed to do, which means that it's theirs. And humans don't want fear of loss. Exactly, Riley. Humans don't want to lose something that is theirs. We will fight so hard to keep $1, but we won't do anything for a $5 bill. All of a sudden somebody asks us for $1, we're like, no way, that's mine. But when it's your $5 bill, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need that $5 bill. I've got my stuff. So you want to give them the position. You want to give them this spot. This is their spot. And you want to say, are you sure you can take this? Are you sure you want this? Or should I give it to somebody else? So huge. That's how you get pre-commitments.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you so much. You guys, I hope you all learned so much. I don't know if you have any last questions. Awesome. Thank you, Riley. Anyone have any last questions? Anything else, Adam, that you think we need to know about syndication before we wrap it up?
Good question. Let's see. How do you build up credibility with no experience? You partner with other people.
Yeah.
That's how you would build credibility with no experience.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find off-market deals and raise the money? I would say raise the money before you try to find off-market deals, by the way. Some really good people, they say you got to do it simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm the best person, and I say do the money first. Yeah. Because if you try to do the deal first, it's just difficult. So how do you find off-market deals? How do you raise money? You can use virtual assistants. You can have a podcast. Because when you have a podcast, deals and money attract to you. As an investor, what can you do to align yourself with experienced investors and operating team? Can you explain the rules of 1031 exchange and other exit strategies? I will say that there is a new way to do a better way than a 1031 exchange, by the way. 1031 exchange limits you time-wise. So your 1031 exchange, for those of you who might not understand it yet, 1031 exchange is a way for you to sell a property without paying a capital gains tax because you're exchanging it for a different property at the same time. So they allow you to basically snowball or roll in your profits to the next one. 1031 exchange is a difficult way to do that because it's like 45 days, I think, to pick something. And if all of those get sold, you can never do it again. But there's a way easier way. I can connect you if you are thinking about doing a 1031 or selling a property, reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with somebody who has a much better way to do that, and you still save all the taxes and you don't have to jump through all those hoops. But if you
what is that called? If it's not this, what is it called?
I don't know the name of it, but that's okay. I'll put you in touch with the expert. If you're trying to save all that money, I'll put you in touch with Lori, the expert, and she'll walk you through it. She'll share with you all of it. It's still an exchange. It's like it's very similar to something that people call a monetized installment sale. But at any rate, it saves you all of the taxes and all of the stress and regulations. Dennis, yes, I have a podcast on it. Lori was the expert, and now I'm excited to share it. Now that I've learned it, I'm excited to share it with other people because 1031 exchange is horrible compared to this. Told so I will just say something that people miss when they're trying to get into this business, something that people miss when they're trying to get into syndication, is how important it is to be an authority, a thought leader, how important it is to have a platform, to be giving to your past investors, giving to others. Some people think that it's not important because there has been a couple people that have gotten to a position without having a podcast. But these days, that seems to not be the case. The only people that are getting ahead is when you are giving back, when you have a thought leadership platform. So I want to just implore you and encourage everyone on the call to consider finding a way to add value to others. One of the smartest men in the world ever in history said that if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And so when you have a podcast and when you're giving true value, the best value you possibly can, day in and day out, it comes back at you and you make crazy money. It makes your life easier. It makes you less stressed. It's really remarkable how that works. And so I just want to suggest not to underestimate or undervalue the importance of getting your brand out into the world. And you can do this. That's what I wanted to leave with.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. If you can just, type in the chat, thank you, hands up, or whatever it is, because we just wrapped up our 6-part beginner multifamily series. And Adam, I just thank you so much for, doing this for 3 weeks back to back. And so it was just really great. Thank you, Ed. Yes. Oh, I see the hand claps. That's so nice. Thank you, guys. And don't forget, I'm going to actually put down here in the chat information where you guys can go to the meetup group, and we're going to have more meetups coming up. And next week we're going to be talking to, his name is Adrian Salazar, and he's 23 years old. He already has done 2 syndication deals, and I think he started around 18 years old. So that's pretty cool. Now, guys, I want you to just know that no matter where you are, if you want to start young, if you didn't have money, so he's going to talk about how he's got started and deals like that, and how to actually find the deals. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. And then like I mentioned before, all of the recordings will be on my YouTube channel. So the link is there. So thank you so much. And I hope I'll see you all next week. Any last words, Adam?
Nope. Have a great one. Such a pleasure to be with you guys.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.